Welcome to NFL Nexus, and this is The Explainer, where we really get into the weeds on football strategy. Today, we are heading down to Miami, because what's happening with the Dolphins? Well, it's more than just a staff shuffle. They are taking a blowtorch to their entire defensive coaching philosophy. It's a huge risk, but it could have a massive reward, and we're going to break down every single piece of it. Hey, if this is the kind of deep dive strategy you love, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And definitely let us know what you think about Miami's new plan in the comments below.
Okay, let's jump right in. The source material we're digging into today used a very specific word to describe the Dolphins' offseason moves: blowtorch. And honestly, there is no better way to put it. I mean, think about what a blowtorch actually does. It doesn't just chip away at the paint, it burns everything right down to the bare metal. Nothing of the old structure is left. And that is exactly what is happening in Miami. This is not about firing a coach here or there. No, this is a systematic top-to-bottom teardown of the whole football operation. It's a conscious choice to say, everything we were doing, forget it. It's gone. We are starting from absolute scratch.
And this slide, wow, this really shows you the sheer scale of that blowtorch. We're not talking about trimming the fat here. This is like surgically removing the entire skeleton of the organization. Let's really take a second to absorb this. You start at the very top of the food chain. Head coach Mike McDaniel, the face of the team, the guy whose offensive scheme was their identity, gone. Then, the architect of the roster, GM Chris Greer, out. What about the guys calling the plays on both sides of the ball? Offensive coordinator Frank Smith and defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver? Both gone. The guy in charge of the trenches, OL coach Butch Barry? See you later. But it goes so much deeper than just the coaches on the field. The people responsible for finding the next generation of Dolphins talent, the director of college scouting, Marvin Allen, and a whole bunch of his staff, also gone. This isn't just a coaching change. This is a full-on extinction-level event for the old regime. All the institutional knowledge, the culture, the playbooks, the scouting reports, poof, wiped clean.
So, after all that demolition, you're left with the single most important question facing the Miami Dolphins right now. And it's a question that lands squarely on the shoulders of the new head coach, Jeff Hafley. I mean, when you are literally standing in the rubble of what used to be your team's leadership, where do you even begin? Where do you lay that first brick? When all the blueprints are shredded and the architects have left the building, how do you even start to imagine a new structure? This isn't just about filling some job openings. This is about forging an entirely new identity from ground zero, all while the clock is ticking towards week one. It's got to be one of the most intimidating jobs any coach can take on in this league.
So how did Hafley start to answer that massive question? Well, his first move was pretty fascinating because it went against everything you'd expect. In a situation that just screams for a total house cleaning, you'd think he'd bring in a busload of his own guys, right? New faces, new philosophies. But Hafley's first priority wasn't about who he was going to bring in, it was about who he absolutely positively could not afford to let walk out the door. His very first act of rebuilding was, believe it or not, an act of preservation.
And that act of preservation was all about one guy, defensive line coach Austin Clark. Now, in a total regime change, it is almost unheard of for a new head coach to keep a position coach, especially for a group as vital as the D-line. But Hafley was smart. He knew that in the middle of this hurricane of change, he needed an anchor. He needed someone the players already knew, someone they already respected, and maybe most importantly, someone they already trusted. By keeping Austin Clark, he sent a really powerful message to that locker room. Yeah, the front office is different, the head coach is new, but the progress you guys have made in the trenches, the culture you've built, that's not going anywhere. We value that.
This quote right here really nails why keeping Clark was so critical. Let's talk about that term, sweat equity. It's perfect. In the NFL, you can't just buy respect with a big title. Sweat equity is what you earn day in and day out on those hot practice fields and those late-night film sessions. It's the trust you build when you prove to a player, hey, I can make you better. I can help you get that next contract. It's a player knowing that this coach has his back and knows exactly what technique will unlock his potential. So by keeping Clark, Hafley wasn't just keeping a coach. He was preserving the most valuable thing in any locker room, real, earned trust.
And look, this reputation isn't just a bunch of fluff. It is backed up by cold, hard facts. Just look at his 5-year track record right here. Let's walk through this. First, the guy's a star maker. He was a huge part of developing Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins into the absolute studs they are today. Foundational, multi-million-dollar players. That's your proof of concept right there. Then, you see what he does with veterans. He takes a guy like Dashawn Hand, who's been around, and pulls a career year out of him in 2024. That shows he can connect with anybody, not just young guys. His entire unit drove a franchise record for sacks in 2023, which proves his coaching translates to team success.
But for me, the most impressive thing on this list is his work with rookies in 2025. Playing 3 rookie defensive tackles for over 1,200 combined snaps, that is a massive amount of trust. And the payoff? Kenneth Grant finished second in the entire league in pressures among rookie DTs. That's not just good coaching. That is elite player development. That is the anchor Hafley is building on.
But here's the thing about an anchor. By itself, it doesn't move a ship forward. It just keeps you from drifting away. Hafley knew that just holding steady wasn't enough. That was only step 1. To actually build something new, something better, he had to inject some fresh thinking into the building. He needed innovation to go along with that continuity. So his next move was all about finding a new architect to start drawing up the blueprints for the future.
And that new architect is a guy named Al Washington. Now, for a lot of NFL fans, this might have been the hire that made them scratch their heads a little bit. I mean, after a total meltdown, you're bringing in a coach from the college ranks, Notre Dame, Ohio State, to a team that needs to win right now? But here's the key. This wasn't a gamble on a random guy. You see that connection right there? Ohio State, 2019. Washington and Hafley coached together on a defense that was absolutely dominant. And that tells you everything. Hafley has seen Washington's coaching style up close. He knows his football IQ, how he teaches, and how he can command a room full of top athletes. He's not just hiring a resume from the college world. He's hiring a guy he trusts completely to make the jump to the pros. And this right here, this is where you can see the genius in Hafley's plan really coming together. It's all about balance. On one side, you've got Austin Clark, the anchor. His job is to hold it all down, to be that rock-solid foundation of proven NFL success. He's the guy who makes sure the young players don't get lost in all the change. Then, on the other side, you have Al Washington, the architect. He's not here to keep things the same. He's here to build something new. He's bringing in fresh ideas, different techniques from the highest levels of college football, and a whole new way of looking at defense. And you absolutely need both. An anchor without an architect just sits there. An architect without an anchor builds on shaky ground. Hafley is betting that together, these two can create something special.
So what exactly is in those blueprints that Washington is bringing with him? Let's unpack this, because every one of these points matters on the field. First, his units are known for being technically sound, especially against the run. That means players who know their assignments, they don't blow their gaps, and they don't make those mental mistakes that give up big plays. That's just fundamental, reliable defense. Second, and this is a huge deal for the X's and O's crowd, he's coached both one-gap and two-gap schemes. One-gap is that aggressive, get-upfield style. Two-gap is more of a disciplined, read-and-react style. Having experience in both gives the Dolphins incredible flexibility from week to week. Third, player buy-in. It's why his guys are known for having an incredible motor. They just fly to the football. And that's not something you can just coach. That's something you have to inspire. And finally, you want proof he can develop elite talent? He coached Harold Landry to lead the entire country in sacks at Boston College. That's the kind of innovation Hafley's betting on.
So when you boil it all down, you have to look at these two hires as one single move. This wasn't about just finding 2 good coaches. It was about finding the right blend of coaches to create something new. Jeff Hafley is intentionally building a staff that has one foot in battle-tested, proven NFL success and the other foot in the high-potential, cutting-edge world of college football. It's a deliberate fusion of what works now and what could work next.
What we're really looking at here is Jeff Hafley's 2-step blueprint for a modern defensive rebuild. And honestly, it's a model any team could follow. Step 1 is the foundation. Retain your anchors. Before you dream up new schemes, you have to identify and lock down the pillars of excellence you already have. For Miami, that was Austin Clark. That gives you the stability to survive the storm. And only once that anchor is set do you move to step 2, infuse new blueprints. This is where you bring in your architects of change, like Al Washington, to build on top of that strong foundation with new energy and a fresh perspective. It's a really smart 1-2 punch: security, then innovation.
And all of this brings us to the final and most important question. The blueprint is smart, the hires are strategic, but is it actually going to work on Sundays? Is this combination of the anchor stability and the architect's vision going to create a truly elite NFL defense? Or will the clash between the old and the new, the NFL way and the college way, just create friction instead of a perfect fusion? The entire future of the Dolphins defense, and maybe Jeff Hafley's career in Miami, really hangs on the answer. We're going to be watching every single snap this season to find out. So what's your take? What's your prediction for this new look defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love reading them. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want to support what we do here at NFL Nexus, a really great way to do that is by checking out our football-themed coloring books. They're great for kids, grandkids, even for you. You can find the link right in the description or just scan the QR code on your screen now. Thanks for watching.